to save. Thanks for staying with us this afternoon. I'm Tamsin Fidel.
And I'm Shirley Chan. Ernie has the night off. It's called the rent trap. Buying a home requires a down payment, but saving for that is almost impossible because of high rent costs.
Yeah, CEO of the Bizzarro agency. Ways to escape that rent trap. And Matthew, nice to see you as always.
It's always wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so let me ask you something. How real is the rent trap? Put it in perspective.
Well, it's very real, and the bottom line is it's hard to save up for a purchase while making really high rent payments. So that's the trap. But if you can get over this, homeownership often saves you money because you're paying your mortgage instead of somebody else's, as well as mortgage payments are fixed, unlike rent, which keeps increasing. But the thing is, a lot of people don't think they can afford to buy it because they're thinking, oh, down payment, it's so much, right? Because traditionally, they're thinking 20%. So if you're gonna break that down, let's say a Bronx home or a Bronx apartment for $300,000, that buyer's thinking, I have to get $60,000, 20% down to come to the table. And that's a lot of money to have to save up when you're paying really high rents.
Right.
Okay, so obviously there's a lot of benefits to home ownership. You can you have equity in what you own. So let's talk about how can people escape the rent trap. It is so hard in New York City within the 5 boroughs, especially right now.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't know there are first-time homebuyer programs available for those who want to stop renting and buy their home.
Right.
And they're attainable for most people, and that's the important thing. And the programs are offered by the city, the state, the federal government, and all of them will help knock down payment down. Some as low as 1 or 2% that you would only have to pay 1 or 2% as opposed to the traditional 20%.
So what exactly should people know if they do want to buy a home but they don't think that they can afford to?
So the misconceptions, right? The misconceptions is first that you have to pay 20% down. And that's simply not true. Even for co-ops and condos, many buildings will accept 10% down. So that's the first. So right off the bat, you've halved your down payments, right? So you're halfway there. The second is you need the right lender, especially if you're purchasing a home in a low to moderate income area, which is the majority of Harlem, Upper Manhattan, the Bronx, parts of Brooklyn. In these areas, there's lenders that will pick up your closing costs, not to mention sometimes give you $10,000 to $15,000 towards your mortgage. So, and then obviously the last piece is government, finding money through government grants.
Okay, and that's one of the programs. How do you know if you're eligible for those programs?
So great question. So you want to do your research, right? There's three most common ones. The first one is called Home First, and that's a New York City down payment program in which if you're pros, you are you should check it out, right? So the requirements are 3% down with only 1% coming from your money. The rest can be in the form of grants. So to qualify for that, a single person, the income cap is just under $75,000, and that grows as we go, and up to a family, married family of 2, caps out at $106,800. The second, Homebuyer Dream Program, and this is a program that gives you $9,500 towards your down payments, as long as you are a first-time homebuyer and you can bring $1,000 to the table. Now, if $1,000 seems to be too much for you, it's okay if that's a gift. You don't have to have earned the $1,000. So that's huge. And the third one is obviously government-backed loans. Now, these are government loans that are less risky to lenders. So they have lower interest rates and lower down payment requirements. So we like these. The most common you've probably heard of is called an FHA loan, but there are other options such as Home Ready, Home Possible, which is through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and they can be alternatives to that, which offer 3% down. And lastly, if you are active military or a veteran, that you may qualify for a VA loan. And VA loans are one of the best you can get because they can be had with 0% down.
All right, so it just sounds like you need to do your research. There are a lot of programs out there. Don't think you are not eligible. Just try to go for it. Matthew Bizzarro, thank you so much for sharing these tips today to help New Yorkers buy their own homes. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
You too.